What's going on, everyone? I'm the Intel, and today I want to take a look at 5 things that have been cut from your favorite games. From weapons, space battles, entire heists, and much more. There's tons to unpack today, and I don't want to waste any time. So let's get started with our very first entry on this list. At number 5, we have Just Cause 3, which is the popular action-adventure title created by Avalanche Software and Square Enix, which was met with mostly positive reviews, unlike its 4th entry. Just Cause 3 has a ton of cut content left in its files, and here is a couple highlights I've been able to find. For vehicles, we were going to be able to have a submarine. There's likely to be a submarine in this game, as sound files and camera controls were found in the files. In Just Cause 4, there was actually submarines, but we never ever got to drive them. You can only imagine how fun it would have been to drive around in Just Cause 3's waters in this massive submarine. The cargo cranes were likely able to be used at some point in development. You can find them around the harbours of the game, and we were likely able to just hop in and get in and use it. Thankfully, as cool as this is, we were actually able to do this in Just Cause 4, and it's pretty damn cool and fun. There's a couple weapons that were cut in Just Cause 3, such as the Typhoon gun. This weapon would have fit Just Cause 3 perfectly, as it was, as the name suggests, a gun that just shoots wind. Pushing and throwing things around would have been a ton of fun. Thankfully, modders have brought the gun back, and you can download a mod to bring it back to the game. The Guitar Case weapon. This would have been similar to Saints Row 4's rocket launcher, Guitar Case. It's got some special animations and it was almost basically complete, but it was never in the final game. Rico would have been able to grab this guitar case and just start shooting rockets. This would have been a cool collectible. Maybe if you find enough guitars or instruments, then you get the guitar case rocket launcher. I think this would have been really fun. Finally, for Just Cause 3, we've got an interesting one, and not a good kind of interesting. Just Cause 3 was going to feature a full microtransaction shop at launch, and it probably would have killed the game, to be honest. Before the game even launched, and was even officially revealed, there were some leaked screenshots for Just Cause 3 showing off the shop. Players were able to buy and rent cars and items instead of the usual way of unlocking it through gameplay. In the game's files, in the final game, there is still a couple references to this, but thankfully Square Enix and Avalanche Software realised this would have been horrible. Can you only imagine, oh, you've unlocked the nuke launcher from beating the game, and nope, you need to rent it. You need to get some gems so you can rent it for 2 hours to play. This honestly would have killed Just Cause 3 for me, and I think everyone. I'm really glad they never went through with this, because I genuinely think we would never have gotten any more Just Cause games ever again, because this would have killed the series forever. Our 4th entry is Rainbow Six Siege, the ever-popular tactical first-person hero shooter which launched in 2015 by Ubisoft Montreal. It's now in its 7th year of content and the game just seems to never end. But with over 7 years of content, there's a couple things that have been cut. Nothing major, but there's a couple good things. The first thing that was cut is an entire weapon. The character Nuke was meant to originally have an assault rifle, the AR-57 to be exact. We've even got some images of it showing it was pretty far into development before being cut. Honestly, I've got no clue why this weapon was cut, as Year 4 Season 2 Phantom Sight became the first season to ever launch with no new weapons or maps. Every season before this had new weapons and maps. So, no clue why they cut this. It looks like a fun weapon and I'd love to see it come back for a future operator. Next is another Nuke cut weapon. She was meant to have a P90 instead of the FMG9, and she even has a pose for holding the P90 during the endgame screen. Again, no clue why they changed from P90 to FMG9. Rainbow Six Siege used to have a very different logo and intro, and if you've been playing from the start like I have, you'll definitely remember the original logo, which is no longer in the game. Our 3rd entry is Dying Light 2 Stay Human. Dying Light 2 is the recently released zombie survival action RPG by Techland that launched in February of this year. It was met with decent reviews and has 5 years of planned content. So before I talk about cut content here, there's definitely a chance that some of this content might be part of that 5 years of content, so it might not stay cut forever. Some of this might come back in the future of Dying Light 2. But let's continue. In early versions of the game, an airship was meant to fly around the VNC Tower, the tallest building in the game. No clue on the purpose of the airship, but there's a second crashed version, suggesting something, or maybe the player, would have taken the airship down during the main campaign. This could have been pretty cool. Now, moving on to some minor spoilers for Dying Light 2's campaign here. If you haven't played the game yet, use the chapters feature on the video timeline below to skip to the next game. Now that's out of the way, Fury Mode is our next topic, and during the campaign, Aiden occasionally turns into a volatile and becomes invincible and can one-hit punch enemies, but it seems we would have been able to do this on demand if our immunity level got too low. If you spent too much time indoors and not in the light, you would have been able to turn on Fury Mode, allowing you to go invincible and just one-hit enemies. This might have been really overpowered, but I think it would have been a blast. We would have also been able to barricade windows and doors in early versions of the game. This probably got removed because, the whole point of the game is to use parkour and keep moving. In the E3 demo of this game, we see a harpoon gun that had been called Scorpio. It acts as a melee weapon, so you can hit zombies with it, or you can turn around and shoot them with a harpoon. This sounded amazing. I hope to see it come back in DLC, but thankfully modders have been able to resurrect the weapon. And all I'm saying is I think it's really cool to whack a zombie with a harpoon gun and turn around and shoot them with the harpoon. I think it sounds really goddamn cool. Our second entry on this list is Halo 3. Halo 3 is the iconic 2007 first-person shooter developed by Bungie and published by Microsoft, and it has gone down as one of the best and most recognizable games on the planet. Halo 3 had quite a bit of cut content though, and some really funny ones as well. A cut cutscene was found in which Sergeant Johnson would help you calibrate your video settings. Yeah, it sounds pretty weird, and it's pretty funny actually. Take a look.
Listen up, recruit. If you already set up your resolution, press A to move on. If not, we need to get your screen set up, because we don't want sloppy equipment messing up our mission. So follow me. But not now, soldier. Just pay attention to the instructions. What's an aspect ratio? It's the shape and proportion of your screen, fool! And don't leave this up for any length of time or it could damage your display. You're almost done. Just a quick check of your audio setup. We're gonna make sure your surround sound is copacetic. Now get back to the war, soldier! Johnson out!
If you've ever used a shade turret in Halo, imagine it could walk. Well, Bungie thought the same idea, and they were prototyping a walking shade turret. Looks kinda weird, but probably would have been really fun. I can think of some really cool Forge modes that would have been a blast. Halo Reach's Falcon is pretty iconic nowadays, but the Falcon was actually intended for Halo 2, but it never came to be. But Bungie actually tried again with the Falcon and wanted to put it in Halo 3, but once again, it never came to be. I do wonder why the Falcon took almost 3 games worth of design and development to finally release in Halo Reach. I'm just really curious, what was stopping them from adding it in Halo 2 and Halo 3? Now finally, this could have been insane and changed Halo 3 and the series forever, and that is space combat in Halo 3. We only have a very small amount of footage though, and knowledge about this one, but we would have been able to have missions and maybe even custom games and multiplayer in space, similar to the Halo Reach and Halo 4 missions. As you can see, we're kinda in space fighting the Covenant in a Banshee in this clip. This could have been really cool. Imagine this in multiplayer though. Just imagine maybe 6v6, 6 people in Banshees, and 6 people like Hornets or something, just flying around in space. Maybe you could even be like Battlefront 2, the original Battlefront 2, where you could land on spaceships and you'd have to take objectives in there. That could have been really cool. If that was in Halo 3, I think it could be the best game of all time, to be honest, just with that one mode alone. And finally, at number 1 is Grand Theft Auto 5. GTA 5 is easily the most popular game in history, selling well over 100 million copies and releasing on Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 and PC. It's been around a while to say the very least. But the game does have some cut content that's actually quite interesting. The biggest cut content that we know about is actually a cut heist called the Sharmuta Job from GTA 5, and it would have had Michael and Trevor robbing Martin Madrazo's mansion. The heist would have had 3 stages: plan the heist, make 2 preparations, and choose one of the 3 approaches. It's likely this mission would have had Michael and Trevor. They would be going into Martin Madrazo's house, stealing a safe, a horse, and Martin Madrazo's wife. To prepare for the heist, Michael and Trevor would have posed as a couple and would have been shown around the house as a couple looking to buy the house. The free approaches for this heist would have been night stealth, which kind of explains itself, going in during the night and being quiet. High impact, where Michael and Trevor dress up as mimes and go in lair during the party. And finally, clown day stealth. Michael and Trevor would dress up as clowns, perform party tricks and stealth to commit the heist. To say the least, I think this heist could have been really good. It sounded really funny and I kinda wish it stayed in the game. A couple of weapons were removed before Grand Theft Auto 5 launched in 2013. These were a shovel, a wrench, a fire axe, a lasso, a heavy rifle, which was a SCAR that actually did release with the Grand Theft Auto Online update, the contract, and the programmable AR, which was an XM25 grenade launcher. And that's my list of 5 games that had content cut that we could have been playing all this time. Some of this sounded really cool. I really liked the GTA 5 Sharmuta job, Halo 3 Space Battles, Dying Light 2 Harpoon Gun. There's so much cool stuff, and I kind of hope some of this might come back, like Dying Light 2's Harpoon Gun and GTA 5 Sharmuta job, since both are still receiving content updates. Anyway though, thank you for watching. I've been the Intel, and have a lovely day.